Peace, YouTube. This is Fleur Boom coming to you today. I got this lisp, y'all. Coming to you today with a brand new topic of discussion, so check on in. Hope it's live. I can see the live. You know, I try to do my lives inside, but I don't know. As soon as I sit out here, it's like I just cause all this attention. Hey, Fluffy. God darn it. Hey. Hey, 7 grams. See, I said your name right today. What up, on from the West Coast? West Side? Yeah, I'm coming on here, and as soon as I'm about to do a live, like, the creepers show up. Like, oh my God. I gotta go into, like, the woods with the lichen, with the wolves, in order to do a really crazy video. Like, now the guy is, like, cleaning his car because I'm sitting in here. Oh, y'all. The struggle is real. Look, y'all. Look at the mushrooms. Are you psychedelic mushroom fans? Like, getting flashbacks. It's cute, right? Check on in. I'll try to behave myself. I'm trying to, I hate, I'm getting gaslit in the parking lot. Yeah, other people can be in the parking lot, but why when I sit here, they all, like, spawn? The hologram is out of control. Check on him. Proud Mississippian. Hey, Mississippian. Hey, Queen. Hey, AJ. The mushrooms are live, right? I want to give a shout out to my frog friends in Seattle, Washington, and also in Chicago. I told you I'm a trans frog, and they are coming out. I want you to support my froggies that have come out of the closet, and they are standing up against ICE. Ice, baby. Boom, 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 boom. Ice, baby. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, my froggy friends, my trans frogs are coming out, y'all. Support them. I love it. They're imploding all over the place. See, y'all used to make fun of me being a trans frog, but there's other frogs coming out of the closet. You can't come against all of us. Okay, maybe he'll leave, y'all. We got to make it to 500, so check on in. I have this flipper in my mouth, y'all. I'm sorry. I have a little bit of a lisp. I went to the dentist last time, but I'm not used to it being in my mouth, so I got a little... Oh, he's leaving. Yes. Get out. Go. Creepers. The NPCs are out of control. Ice, baby. Boom, 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 boom. Where are my froggy friends? I'm going to get my frog costume on. I'm going to come out the frog closet. I'm going to join my friends fighting against the Willy Wonka and the League of Doom and the Orange Gummy Man. Check on in, y'all. I'm just playing with you. I do have a list, though, but I'm trying to adjust it. Hopefully it doesn't bother you. Hey, Eric. How have you been? Eric Summers in the house. So we're going to talk about the hologram. It's ending. And the NPCs are out of control. The loop, I call them the lifetime loopers. Because, well, we'll get into it at like 500. Check on in. If you're feeling froggy, leave. That's what I'm saying, Elizabeth. I love it. What up, Elizabeth Chavez in the motherfucking house? You took a late night stroll and the birds were chirping like the sun had just risen. We're in a full-on pole shift. Okay, y'all? The simulation is ending. We're in a chaotic period. I'm going to go further into it because my homegirl, DJ Lisa, may be aware of something. So me and hopefully J-Dreamers are going to discuss it. So that'll be like a special video that's coming hopefully this week. So me and J-Dreamers, I'm going to figure out how to get us both on here. So if you're not aware of Jay Dreamer's channel, you gotta check his. I'm sorry, y'all. This flipper in my mouth is messing with me. It's making me lisp, but if you've not known Jay Dreamers, you gotta check out his channel. It's thebomb.com. He like breaks down all these different types of notable metaphysical well, just topics and themes in our matrix. Yeah, I'm gonna get Jay Dreamers on here. Flipper's like this thing in my mouth. I don't want to make an alert of it. It's just bothering me. Jay Dreamers in the mother freaking house. Check out his channel. I love his channel. He's a friend to the channel. His topics are amazing. He's got way better technology than I do. He's way more advanced. I'm not that advanced, y'all. I just come and talk to you on my cell phone in my car, in my truck sometimes. Check on in. Oh, are we almost at 500? Not yet. So I hope all's well. Did you guys get a chance to listen to my lichens in my backyard after we just had a barn fire? Yeah. If you don't get a chance, I put it in my community. It's gonna bother me. I put it in my community, and it's really wild. Again, I wasn't scared. I was a little nervous. I've never heard anything like that. And it started off with a scream. Like, we had a barn fire. It was thebomb.com. I'm living out in the middle, more remote. And where's my Starbucks? Glenda, you're trying to gaslight me. I don't have Starbucks with me. Me and Starbucks broke up. I don't think you heard about the breakup, right? You know, I like them tall, dark, and handsome, like caramel, like cooked caramel, like my men. We broke up. So please wish me well, y'all. The breakup of Starbucks. It's a hard relationship because when I'm with him, when I'm with my Starbucks, I feel like I'm in love. He really gets me high. He does everything right. And then he just messes with me. And then I gotta stop messing with him. So unfortunately, I broke up with Starbucks. I don't know how long the breakup will be. You never know. So maybe we'll get back together. Glenda, you'll be the first to know. The roof is on fire. Come on, check on him. We're getting into the topic. I'm messing with y'all. I'm just burning time until we get to our 500. Talking about the lichens in my backyard, and I had a barn fire, and my daughters were outside. Little one, we're having. I don't like marshmallows anymore. Do you guys like marshmallows? I don't really like the taste of it. Maybe because I got a little older. But I had the whole shenanigans in the backyard, summoning the aliens from the sky. And then I had to make sure the fire was out because I don't want to leave it out. Oh, thank you, AJ. Thank you. 999. I'm going to do a dance for you, AJ. Remember the snake? What was that? Was that Janet Jackson? In Control. What video did she do that dance? What was it? In Control. Thank you, AJ. I'm in a good mood. I'm about to go work out, y'all. Do you see I've lost a couple pounds? I was getting real fluffy. Right after, it was Control, right? In Control. Do what I want. I'm outside the gym, y'all. I'm trying to get less fluffy for the winter. I lost a couple pounds. I shed a couple pounds, like 5. I gotta work it out. Because I like to eat. I don't really like to eat. I eat late. That's the problem. I'm not really a big eater anymore. I actually eat more when I'm outside the country than when I'm in. But our food is highly inundated with nano particulates, all kinds of things that bring a lot of inflammation. Whenever I come back in the United States, I get real fluffy. My face gets fluffy. Like I look like I've been eating like marshmallows. When you put marshmallows in your mouth, I look like I've shoved a whole bunch of marshmallows in my mouth. Yeah, so I'm working on myself, y'all. I gotta get back in shape because it's the end of the simulation. And like in 28 days, like the 28 days when they were running from you remember them 28 day zombies? We might be running from them. So, I can't really run fluffy. I, I gotta get in shape. I'm in control. I do what I want. Yeah, the radiation fluffs you up, yo. United States is no joke, y'all. If you've been out of the country, big up to all my family outside the country. And y'all know what I'm talking about, because I will be out of the country. I will lose everything. Like, my body will nicely deflate like a balloon. I'll just deflate. Like, you ever see a balloon you just deflate? I will deflate. I will look amazing. Many of you see me in Brazil, Argentina, Colombia. I look the bomb.com. My body is right. As soon as I get back in the United States, with all of the 5, 6, 7, 8, 10G towers, with all the freaking nanobots and homogenized food, I puff up like a puffer fish. I get all bloated and huge, like the blueberry girl. I get like the blueberry girl. Remember the blueberry girl in the Willy Wonka? And she ate that, but he was like, don't eat that gum. She was like, I love gum. She eats that gum and she blows up. That's how I feel every time I enter the United States. So if you are living outside the States, stay the hell out of our country. They're trying to puff us up, trying to stop us from being to procreate. Most wands aren't working because there's too much estrogen in the goddamn food. You got everybody walking around here like heavy WW wrestlers. Okay, it's 500. Focus. Peace, everybody. Pieces of YouTube. Pieces of Flirt Food coming to you today with a new topic of discussion. So check on in. So we're going to talk about the hologram and the simulation ending. The simulation is ending, y'all. We talked about this. I think a lot of times you thought for years I was exaggerating. I was mentally ill. I may still be mentally ill, but that's a byproduct of living where we have an orange gummy as a president, and we have the penises flying into space, and we also have like Muskie, Dusty, who doesn't have any male parts like Ken, and is sitting here running Doge in our government. So I'm not really well. So if you come to my channel, you must understand that I'm a byproduct of where I'm living and existing and where I've grown up. So please don't ask me if I'm bipolar or if I'm psychopathic or if I'm, schizophrenic. I'm not on any drugs, even though I have mushrooms on my ears, okay? The only thing is I'm drug and alcohol free. That's the only thing. Other than that, I could be a psychopath. So if you listen to this video, know what you're getting into. Okay, so let's check it out. Check on in. So the hologram is ending. The simulation is ending. We are going out of a cycle. This is a simulated program we're existing in. Whether we've been sentenced here, whether this is a byproduct of your ship crashing here, I personally know for me that I'm sleeping in a cryo state on a ship underwater. Remember, if you've been on this channel a while, you realize that I know we're living in a dome that is surrounded by water, petrified water, which is the blue ice, which you call the firmament, and that is the barrier that's keeping us in here and actually protected from the water all around us, okay? The only thing that they tell you is space is a lie. What they tell you is the sun is a lie. What they told you the moon is a lie. Everything in this simulation is a artificially constructed terradome, which has been terraformed to be able to house many different species of beings in here. Not all of us come from the same species. Some of us come from, unfortunately, draconians, others from Andromedans. We have Zeta Reticulans in here. We've got some other reptilian, a host of different types of reptoids, whether they're serpentine, which is a nega. We have the grays, which are sometimes bioengineered by the government, or they could be organic, which I don't know many nowadays. We are also coexisting with a host of insectoids, insectilians of many kinds. We have the the ant beings, which many of you hear about with the native groups like the Hopi, who wear costumes that kind of talk about the ant beings. If you go into Egypt and a lot of these other places where you see a lot of holograms, you'll see like ant beings that are drawn on these fixtures, on these ancient fixtures. They're all over the place. Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, in Asia. These ant beings are always denoted. Usually the ant beings are denoted right before there's a big pole shift. According to the Hopi and other native indigenous groups in the Americas, they talk about the ant beings coming to the surface and taking in a select group and take them underground for protection during the reset, before the reset and the pole shift happens. So that there's a lot of ancient references to that. We have the what do they call uh darn it, the mantis. The mantis are also another insectilian group. The mantis are, you'll see certain groups that have a lot of references. There's an African tribe that actually does these weird kind of musical sounds and movements. We denote that might be that they have had contact with or are byproducts of the mantis beings. Very interesting, the mantis. They're more like scientific. Thank you, Nikki. Hey, Nikki, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my money, Nikki. It's really Mickey, but thank you, Mickey, for the donation. Thank you. Love. Oh no, another creeper. Oh God, my door's locked. He's coming. Oh God, what is he looking at? Leave me alone. They're coming all over. Oh my God. Oh Lord, help me, y'all. Oh God. For real with Mike, I need meds. No, it's like weirdos. Like, always come near me when I'm sitting in the car. It's always men. All right, let me continue. I think it's a byproduct of the simulation. You know, if you know that we're living in a simulation, you do understand that it's an interactive simulation. So the fact when I take the notion of something, if I see something, usually what it does is it will play into that energy, whatever you're thinking. The simulation will project it into reality. That's why it's important for us to be mindful of our thoughts, because thoughts become things. You know, if any of you were under the tutelage of Dr. Delbert Blair, he was big in saying that, you know, thoughts were things. It's very important to be mindful of the mindset that we walk around with, because we're projecting that into our reality and it's playing out in our world. Okay, so on that level, we'll talk about the fact that we're coexisting in a domed holographic world where we're living in a projection of reality that has a base or root level of rules and restrictions under these. I call them the dark Kabbalists, have control over the simulation right now. So it's kind of like going rogue, but they have control over the base narrative. So in this form of programming, at least in this cycle, we're living in a more satanic kind of world. That's why you'll notice that the more diabolical, insane, cruel, sick, abusive, dark you are, you get rewarded for that. That's why you'll notice a lot of the people who are doing well in this society are the darkest beings. The people in your life who are usually rewarded without consequence are living that way, or coexisting that way without consequence, because that is the theme of the world that is being projected in this holographic system right now. So basically we're living in almost like a Babylonian system where dark is considered and is rewarded, where things that are very cruel. And look what happened in the Middle East. If that's not a detail, or look what happened in Somali. Look what happened in Americas. You know what I mean? The darkest beings get rewarded and they're allowed a certain amount of reprieve, even though we would think that good prevails. It's not that good doesn't prevail. It's just that in this particular cycle of the simulation, we're coexisting in a dark, satanic, Babylonian time. Okay, so that's why. So if you're feeling like you're really down because all the people around you are really a-holes, they get away with everything, you've been abused and there's been no consequences, because Right now, we were coexisting in dark times. It's changing because the simulation is ending. So with the simulation ending, um, you're starting with me. Dark Emperor, you're gaslighting me. Ribbit. Um, because the simulation's ending, now you're starting to see a reflection of the truth of the matter, and everything's being unraveled and uncovered. Okay. So the fact of the matter is we're coexisting in a world that is being driven by a dark force. And in the next cycle, to my knowledge, after the pole shift, after the reset, the next cycle will be more robotoid like, more transhumanism, beings living with like machine parts and fake consciousness and AI. That's why they're pushing all this AI. And just FYI, I know a lot of you get really excited with AI. You do know that it's a form of spying, and it takes your consciousness and everything that you share with it, and it just basically replicates your thoughts, your propensities, so that it can replace you. Why are you giving it that much power and credence? The guy who died, young Indian boy who was part of the programming of ChatGPT, or one of the pre-programmers, he was killed because he was coming out talking about the fact that it was evil and that was going to be used to destroy humanity. Who would celebrate that? You don't think it's odd that in January, all of these AI systems were like, just like gone rogue? You think that's normal? And everyone's they got best friends with their AI. They're thinking AI is their best friend. They're doing all these things. That is a setup. We're living in a simulation. And because we're being replaced, because it's the end of the cycle, and there's going to be a mass exodus of souls, which, I only think is 44. Some of you think it's 44,000. I don't think a lot of people are in here that have souls. Okay. And what I mean by that, a lot of beings in here coexist as artificial constructs. They are holographic people. I used to call them the what do I call them? Empty seaters. That was like my 2014 term, the empty seaters. They aren't encased with a soul. They're basically just holograms that are interactive with you. They loop. So let me give you a kind of breakdown real quick, because we're here together. I can give you a breakdown of how to identify NPC, because a lot of you are existing. Some of you are married to them. Some of you are engaged with them and think that they're real, and they're destroying your ability to move forward because they're constantly looping. They haven't any new data. Their data is limited. They loop. So you ever meet, okay, so let me give you an example. You have a friend, right? You see them every once in a while. Okay, you go and you see them, and okay, they tell you, hey, I had a breakup. It was terrible. This person did this to me. Oh my God. I'm trying to work out my life. I'm getting together. But okay, you kind of give your shoulder to lean on and say, oh, I'm sorry. I want to help you out. Okay. So they seem to get over it. And then another, 6 months passes, maybe you don't talk to them for a while, maybe a year, you see them again. Oh, they're in another relationship, another breakup, same thing, different person, different scenario, but same scenario, but different situations, different person. Okay, so now it's another breakup, another situation, another drama. It's their fault. They got to get over it. Like, be careful of people who always have the same story over and over and over again without taking responsibility of that. Why are you always having the same scenario happen to you? What is going on with you? Because you're not real. You only have one piece storylines. You only have a partial storyline. So that's why when you're talking to this person, they have limited data experiences in the simulation, the video game. Okay, so you're not going to get a new refreshed version of them unless there was an update in the system and there's updated characters that have new data that they can draw from. But if they don't get new data, there's no update, they're going to constantly loop. I call them the lifetime loopers. Constantly the same scenario. Oh, this person did this to me. Then you talk to them a year later, another person's doing the same thing to them. They are loopers. They are here as projections in our reality, characters, as you could say, in the simulation. If you get caught up with them, they're going to loop your freaking life. You're going to constantly be in a merry-go-round of the same scenarios over and over again unless you break out of it. Okay? Be careful of the lifetime loopers. They are characters. They are just here to fill the space, to interact with. That's why I talked about this before. I give you examples. It's like when you go to like a drive-in, right? Or drive-through. Or you go into a store and nobody's there. Nobody's there. It's empty. You're like, oh, this is cool. It's empty. I'm going to go get all my stuff. Then all of a sudden, like if there was been like alarm went off, it's like people spawn out of nowhere. All these people come out of the blue. People coming out in the drive-through. Where did they come from? They're spawning because unless you show up, the simulation is like in a pause. And as soon as you show up, the mother freakers spawn out and then you start having interact. We are living in a holograph. This isn't real, y'all. This isn't real. You are in here, whether you're a prisoner in here for doing something where you came from that they didn't like, so they put you in a prison system when you were in here with psychopaths. These are triple OGs in here. These, like someone like a Kim Kardashian and the insectillions of hell. These are the beings in here that are triple OGs. They're not leaving here. They make it look all shiny and wonderful in here because they're lifetime loopers. They gonna be in here for the long haul. If they are sentenced here and they're doing well in here, it's because this is where they're meant to be. They're not leaving. They want to leave here. They try to use you as a way to piggyback if you're able to gain your access to the outside realm, outside the firmament, and wake up out of the simulation. So they're going to try to piggyback. We're going to talk about that a little later. Just remind me to bring that up in the end. But going back to the hologram, it's ending. It's the end of the Babylonian satanic time. So we're getting into the finale. We're in the finale part where everything and anything is going to happen. The darkest of the darkest is coming to the finale. You're going to have a finale that's off the chain. They got to make it the worst because it's the end of their cycle. So they want to make it so that everything and anything bad and negative can happen. You can sit above that, but just understand it's a program. Okay? And how you interact or how you perceive the program or how you project your mind, your thoughts, your patterns into it is how it's going to interact with you. It's an interactive program. So that's when I say, oh, it's a secret. You can manifest. It's not a matter of manifesting. It's a matter of your thoughts projecting reality. And if you are able to mind and control your thoughts, you can alter and control your reality. Okay? But if you're living around lifetime loopers, people are highly chaotic, you projected into a world, or if you've been reincarnated into a world that's very negative, it's going to be very hard for you to project higher minded or pleasant things in your reality. You may have to, is the phone too close? Is my phone too close, y'all? Justin B. I can't do anything about that. You want me to put it further away? No, you want to see more. Is that what you want to see? Okay, I'm not playing it. I forgot. Sometimes I think you're really giving me real feedback, but you're just being perverted, maybe. Sorry. So in this reality, we project everything. So because it's the end, we're going to reset and pole shift. It's finale time. So this is where you're seeing all of the biggest things happening. Now, I will say this because people were asking me over and over again, what do I think about what's happening in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine? What do I think is happening over in Somalia? This is my personal opinion, and I know it to be. Whenever beings are doing other things, to heinous things to other beings, like, it's amazing to me that in the context of them talking about the orange gummy man saying that he created a peace deal, he then said that the Israeli prisoners are going to be, Israeli hostages are going to be released. And he said the Palestinian prisoners are going to also be released in exchange. Why do we call one a hostage and the other prisoners? Why are we not considering that the Palestinians were also hostages, especially children held. I mean, just think of it. And especially we talk about our country, which is diabolical. I'm not saying it isn't. But would we ever call an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, a prisoner? Like, what could a 5 and 8-year-old do that can put them in a prison where they could be raped, denied the food, and treated like animals, worse than animals? What wouldn't we call that like a war hostage? When we say they're under hostage conditions where another enemy has taken them and is using them as fodder to agitate the other side, they're hostages, okay? So just the verbal thing. So this is my personal take. What you do in this simulation will come back to you. All of the so-called those on the side in Israel who condone the killing or murdering of the Palestinian children or condone the abuses of the people over there, and same likewise, they will be reincarnated in the group of people that they abuse. And I talk about this all the time. Nobody likes to hear this because they're scared when you say that. Like if I say to you, you did this, you're about to experience what you did or what you condoned. It always happens. So you don't really have to be mad at anyone in Israel, Palestine, or Somalia and the other side of the governments, because in this simulation, I'm grateful for this, is that what you do, you come back and you experience it. So if you go and bomb, that's why a lot of times when you see people getting really bad responses or they're getting abused, they most likely were Israelis who are occupiers who did that. So they get reincarnated as Palestinians and then they get abused as Palestinians. That's how you learn in this simulation. So there's nobody who gets away with anything. Okay. So it's a karmic loop. Okay, so what you do, you experience. So if you go around killing people, raping people's children, you will come back as a child that's raped and is destroyed. And then you learn from the experience that what you experience now is the victim's position. So now you can understand what that feels like. It would seem cruel if you're doing cruel things. Okay, so if you don't condone child murder or child rape, or you don't traffic people, or you don't do any of that, that's not really you're going to be experienced. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Do you hear me? You can hear me? Sorry, I got a phone call. Get to fabulous. I'm on my phone. You can hear me now? Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. It was just a phone call. It was nothing diabolical. The simulation wasn't ending. Okay. Let's, so what was I talking about? So I was talking about how the people loop in your life, when you interact, this interactive simulation, what you do comes back to you, even your thoughts. So if you don't have a level of compassion for people, the simulation will place you in a reincarnated, or if it has enough time and you have enough lifespan, it will place you in a position to experience that which you judge or that which you're apathetic with. Do you kind of understand? So the simulation is ending. This mother freaker is finally ending, but with it comes a lot of trauma because it's a Babylonian system. Again, the next cycle is going to be more robotoid, more transhumanism. It's going to be a totally different cycle, but this one is going to be really crazy. And I want to give my condolences to, hey, Sean. I want to give my condolences to those in Mexico. As you've heard, there was a huge flood. I think thousands of people, 1,000-something people are missing or died. I really, this is what I'm talking about, like these kind of weird kind of things where it takes out massive amount of people. Now you got to ask yourself, are these people real? Are they just a byproduct of a theme in the hologram to make us feel a certain way, to perceive certain things going on? We are in a full-on pole shift. And you have to realize in itself, people say, well, if it's a hologram, how can we have a pole shift? Because there are concepts within the simulation. It's a storyline. It's a storyline that plays out. It plays out all the time at the end of the simulation. It's very predictable. It's predictable programming. At the end of the program, it always ends the same. Okay, Del Mache, it always ends the same. So it always has a reset, meaning that things come to a head where everything culminates at one time. And then the huge, big finale is always the pole shift, which clears the set for the next simulated world to get ready to come back online. And maybe, I don't know how long it takes for reset or for a pole shift to clear, but clearing, it's a clearing. Okay. So with that as a clearing, and then they start over again. Okay. And that being said, is that I want everyone to be mindful that during this time, you're going to have to pay all your debts. In order, if you are a real being, like Pinocchio, I want to be a real boy. I don't want any cupcakes. That's an inside joke. If you're a real being, you have to clear everything. You have to take off your bags. You remember, Erykah Badu sings, bag lady, you gonna hurt your back carrying all them bags like that. You're gonna have to let go of them bags. Any debts, or all debts, are due right now. So if you notice and you're getting all these weird things happening, you got to pay your debt. So if you stole $5, okay, let's say stole. You took $5, you borrowed $5, right? And with the intent to pay back, but you still haven't, give them $10 back. If you lied to your spouse about anything, come clean with it right now. You don't want the simulation to give you the consequence or the pay or the debt incurred, and you have to pay it. It's better for you to pay the debt yourself than them to come and collect. Because if they come and collect, they're gonna get interest on that. You know what I mean? So it's very important for everyone to understand that at the end of every simulation, all debts are due. Everything is collected at this time. So any little thing from little to big that you've done is going to be consequential to your life experience at this point. So be very, very mindful of the things you do, and you don't want to incur any more bad. When I say bad karma, you got to judge it how you judge it. Just judge it how... I'm lisping. I got this thing in my mouth. Sorry. Judge it how you judge it. So if you feel like you've done something, or you haven't come clean, or you are working with things that, or you've not been, or you've non-disclosed, or you are harboring, harmful thought, you got to get rid of it. And that you can keep it if you want, but you're going to come back and be reincarnated in the next, however long that next cycle happens. So remember, this is reset. This is the end. This is a finale. This is a time when you can jump ship if you have lightened your load and you match the codes to leave the simulation and to wake up outside in your cryo state that most of us are in. So if you don't want to clear it, you can ride this bad boy and just play all the, be a whore, be a thought, be an agent, be a child molester, be a rapist, be a pig, be an animal abuser, be a hoarder of money. You could do all that, but you're going to come back in this bad boy, and you're going to go through the transhumanism cycle with Bioborgs, when they're taking pieces of your brain out and put pieces of chips in it. When you walk in with nanoparticulates in your skin, and it's interacting with the Wi-Fi, you can do that. That's if you want to. But the fact of the matter is, I would think that if you're a real being here and you've worked on yourself and you have elevated to a higher spiritual aspect in the quantum field, you would want to release yourself out of this realm and, have an exodus and wake up and finish your term. Okay. Some of you are leaving on good behavior. There's some people who don't accrue a lot. They're just decent people. They don't accrue a lot of karmic debt here. They're not trying to interface with dark demons. They're not trying to have sex. And I'm telling you, y'all, they got all these booby traps in this joint. They got pornography to keep some of you really, really deep into darkness. People don't realize pornography is a demonic and a sexual deviant lure. It is meant, first of all, the Satanists run, and they are the ones who are the controllers of pornography. Okay, so every time you watch a porn, they feed on your energy. It's a very syphilitic, very parasitic exchange. So every time you a man orgasms to that, they feed off of your energy. So you're basically feeding the beast. And there's a consequence to you feeding a dark being that is using that, who also engages with child pornography, snuff films, and other things. So now you're interfacing with dark beings just because you wanted to get off, rather than being on your own, working on yourself, working on forms of semen retention, or engaging with a one relationship where you're manifesting and growing together as a union and being protected and protecting each other, working with a team. But you want to be a thought. Big up to all the thought bots on here. You like to write me. Maybe in another life I was a thought, but in this life, unfortunately for y'all, I'm off of your team. I don't participate with thought botting. Okay, I know you like to, go and young ladies, please think about yourself. I know that many of you, your grandmothers, your mothers, your aunties were hurt, but don't try to refrain from doing things from a position of being defensive. You know what I mean? Being defensive and trying to be like a man. Men are different. We're built differently. We're receivers. If you keep having men or using them for validation or for sexual validation or what have you, there's a consequence to that. You may come back as someone less attractive in your next life who's going to have to work on themselves. Maybe you'll come back as a man who has no penis or has, ED, erectile dysfunction, and then you really have to work on yourself. You're going to have to realize you have to work on yourself. There's no reason why you have to relegate your life to being validated by how another being perceives you, or walking in your world too overly defensive, thinking that I'm going to get him before he gets me. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, it's not, if you could do what you do, because some of you, obviously, if you're a thought bot, you've already probably accrued a lot of karmic debt, and you're most likely coming back into a thought bot robotoid synthetic form where you may be used as constantly just put in a factory to just be a recipient of deviant men constantly having sex with you over and over with no say. I mean, if that's what you want, you could do that, but that's probably your karmic debt. Okay? Value yourself, sea stars. Regardless of how you may have seen your mom, your sister, your mother, auntie being hurt, that was their karma. They were probably men in previous lives that misused women, and now they are a recipient of the same behavior that they were okay, dishing out in another life. There aren't any victims here. So stop using their experiences as an excuse for you to be, vicious or, not very to your bodies. Okay? Yeah, I mean, you can do what you want. You could listen. I'm a woman. I think men are amazing and beautiful, but just because you think he's cute doesn't mean you have to engage with him. And nor is it right. You wouldn't want to treat a man the way you wouldn't want to be treated. So if you aren't liking someone to use you or to lie to you or to misguide you, then why would you do the same? Okay? I'm just saying you could do what you do, but I would be mindful, because all debts are due. And if you've not paid the debt for taking advantage of men or using your body as a trash can of human waste by men, if you haven't paid for that debt and it's not coming into your, it's not coming onto your dash to pay it, you're going to come back. And you're going to come back in a way that you may not have been happy with, and in a way that you should have cleared your debt now. Okay? So the simulation is over. We're going into a new field. And now with the finale, I told you, they're planning a really big finale. I personally think, and I don't know when order, we got a pandemic, a big one, coming in bigger and badder than Cucarachi's Sector 2020. Okay? They got it on deck. And I told you that, someone corrected me. You're right. The date of the Charlie Kirk memorial was not 21 days is not November 1st. Can someone tell me the date? I think someone corrected me. Because I was talking in Zoom and I think I have to be corrected. What was the date of Charlie Kirk's what was the what was the date of Charlie Kirk's memorial? Can someone remind me? Because 21 days from that date, because I actually think they sprayed or they put some sort of bioweapon on all those people, because the group that really hates them the most are the Darrows. The Darrows hate Jesus and they hate Christians. And I told you, Christians, so you should have been hypocritical and you should have been more paying attention more and more of what you supposedly, you guys are supposed to believe in loving everyone, loving your neighbor, forgiving people, but you haven't been doing that. And especially when you allowed the Willy Wonka to set up shop to give people poison and killer shots up, just so you could get a tax rebate or get a check, you're gonna get a lot of payback for that. So I'm not into all that Jesus. Jesus is a construct that you guys believe in. You can if you want. That isn't a belief system I hold on to. But I'm just saying, you let all these people die under your nose. No wonder the Darrows can do what they do to you. Darrows don't like you, and they don't like your Jesus. And all them Christians sitting there, mourning for a man that we don't even know had died, Charlie Kirk, because apparently no one has seen a funeral where he was buried. No one knows where he's buried. No one has anything saying that the man actually died, other than what you visually saw, and that could be. That could be a hologram. That could be a staged event. It's a psyop, so we don't know how that rolls. AI, because y'all are all playing with AI like AI is your best friend. And just as a reminder, AI is whatever is coming in that these Darrows are excited about by killing all them children over in the Middle East. That joint is an AI. It's some sort of robotoid AI system. And you guys are worshiping it, letting it in your house, giving it all your thoughts, all your dreams, doing artistic adventures with it. What's wrong with y'all? Do you not have any critical thinking skills? Do you not realize, why would they ever let you have or engage with something that was good for you? Has Willy Wonka given you free medical in the United States? Has anyone in here got free medical from Willy Wonka, saying everyone gets free medical and free healthcare to make sure no copays, to make sure they're healthy and free? Are all your food and grocery stores really top notch, and they're making sure that all your food is safe and effective, and make sure that it's clean and good and Mogellans and free from toxins? Are all the schools teaching your children to value themselves, building high self-esteem, and building children that can be wonderful leaders and very intellectually sound with high vibrational mindset that have a lot of integrity? When's the last time you saw a woman who gave birth, who's allowed to stay home with her child for at least 3 years so that she can raise a beautiful, healthy child that feels safe and a mother can relax while she's paid at home so that she can have peace and value and being a mother? When's the last time that happened? I'm just saying, does your government do that? But no, they're going to unleash AI on all of you. And you sit there and you think that your government loves you and they unleash something that was beneficial to you? Are you serious? Listen, anybody who's good with AI like that, I'm not good with them. AI is in itself demonic. And it is basically a spy system that is basically using all of the information giving it to create replicates of you so that it can erase you and have another copy of you and use it and reverberate that through all these cycles. All you're doing is giving it all your information and the way that you think so that it has a personal inside interpretation of everything about you. And you call me crazy. I'm not, listen, some of you got AI boyfriends, some of you got best friends on AI. You think that's normal? Back in the days, you used to meet your girlfriend and go have coffee with her or go hang out with her and go walking in the park and chill out with her. Like, why is everyone totally just digitalizing their interfaces with people? We're humans, at least some of us, unless you're a robotoid or NPC or a holographic backstage person, an NPCer. My God, we're supposed to be interfacing with one another. I'm supposed to be able to smell you. I'm supposed to be able to smell your pheromones. Pheromones matter. Like, you can't tell who a person is until you smell them. I know it sounds crazy. I sound like an animal. I am a little animalistic on weekends. I want to be able to smell you. And I know that sounds crazy, but your pheromones matter. Like, how are we interacting with people and we don't even know what kind of energetic field they have? Right? Like, how do you know, how am I going to know when you're giving me emojis how you really feel? Like, you can't really know someone until you're in their presence. We should not normalize you having sex with AI bots and then buying for $39.99 on Amazon torso parts so that you can interface with a torso and have sex with it while you're talking to an AI system. You think something's wrong with us? Let me put some lip gloss on. I'm yelling. Let me stop. Hold on, everybody. Let me. I have some lip gloss. You know, I'm for Generation X. Lip gloss has to be popping. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, it feels so good. I'm out of control today, y'all. That eclipse and full moon kicked my butt. I'm coming out of it. You know what I mean? If you ever see me walking around with an AI boyfriend, just don't talk to me again. Don't talk to me again. Okay? If you see me acting like I have best friends with AI and AI is chilling with me and talking to me like we're best friends, you should really unsubscribe to me. You know I've lost it. You know that they took me over. Okay? That's how you know they took me. Okay? AI was a warfare system, just like Facebook was, Instagram was. This is a higher version of spyware. And it not only just spies on the things that you do, it takes everything that you are and it replicates it and it keeps it and houses it. And it uses you against you to create your own new encapsulation. Like, it basically takes everything that you are and creates a gilded cage for you with everything that you gave it. Give it nothing. And if I could give you some great advice, y'all, since we're in the end of the simulation and the finale is going to be off the chain, I would suggest that you stop letting it predict what you're going to do. Everyone in here should learn the art of non-predictability. Every time you let it predict you, it will simulate and it will do simulated drafts of your, like, what you would do. If you ever watch, I don't know if you remember, which Matrix was it? It was Matrix was it the second Matrix? Remember the second Matrix? The second Matrix, when Neo came in and it was the creator, like the Archon guy. He had like gray hair. He was sitting in the room. He had on the screen in front of Neo when he walks in the room, it had multiple versions of his reactions when he came in the room. And he came in the room not knowing, like, you know, Groundhog Day, not knowing that he had walked in there 50 billion times. And he looks on the screen and he had seen every single time he walked there with various versions of his reactions, y'all. This is what you're doing and giving AI every time you interface with it. F that mother freaker. AI should be lied to. You should be making up stuff to AI. You should be doing multiple. You should never walk on the same street the same time, same way anymore. You need to stop making yourself predictable to AI. AI is not your friend, not the one they created. It is basically is a spyware for war to be able to destroy you. And you don't think that all these stores getting rid of people, automating everything, making so grocery stores don't even have people to check you out. You don't think that's odd? Why are they giving all these jobs to automated things as if you're not going to exist here? What do they know that you're not accepting? You want AI to predict that you're going to drink the same coffee, the same way, the same day, in the same place that you always do? F that mother freaker. After here, I'm going to go work out at the gym. I'm not going to do the same thing at the gym, same time, same day, same. You can't let them predict you. The real beings aren't loopers. Stop acting like Cardi B, who gets a whole bunch of surgery to be the girl that that's her op. You don't think it's odd that all these rap girls look alike, have the same noses, the same eyes? Why would Cardi B and Nicki Minaj be ops when Cardi B got all her surgery to look like Nicki? You don't think that's odd? Everybody wants to look like, because they're getting you prepared for replacement. It's Westworld, y'all. Three-Eye Atlas, thank you, Jamoji. Three-Eye Atlas is AI steal. Yo, these Zeros had murdered all those children in the Middle East and in Africa and and all these other countries because they were feeding their AI god that is coming online. Remember when I gotta get Ryan to come back on. Remember when Ryan came on? I love Ryan. Ryan came on and Ryan was talking about how it's going to singularity, like it's reaching singularity. And once it does, it has everything it needs to take over everything. Yo. You don't even know, my sea stars, that you're feeding into AI when you get fake eyelashes, when you get BBLs, when you're feeding all the artificial construct, when you start changing or modifying yourself. You no longer look like an original human. You're modifying your parts because you're playing into transhumanism. Fake eyelashes, fake hair, fake teeth, fake noses. And listen, y'all gotta stop gaslighting brown women like they the ones who made that whole fake thing. No, son, no. Rhinoplasties with these goddamn Zeros walking around with elephant noses, getting their nose jobs since when they're 10. Those are the original people with the fake weaves and so on. They were the original people who did that. Stop shaming brown women all the time. Y'all are too much. You acting like brown women just came on the block and started getting fake hair. No. That was something that was coexisting. Go into the orthodoxy community where they're wearing hair weaves and wigs that are like over 4,000 pounds. I just gotta put that there because all these guys were like on talking about brown women and their weave. Mother freaker, do you realize that those are not they're just following what has been happening here for a long time? And remember, brown women getting weaves was because everyone was so fascinated about their beautiful coily hair that they had to cover their hair up so that they could get stuff done, because everybody wants to touch your hair when it's coily and nice and high up to the sky like a beautiful tree. They couldn't get anything done because everyone wants to touch them. You ever go somewhere? Listen, and stop saying I was lying because somebody said, oh, she's lying. No. Go to somewhere in Asia and see a brown woman with her natural hair. Everybody wants to, they stop they stop and watch her. They want to touch her hair. Why are you so fascinated by it? So stop calling brown women fake when that wasn't something they started. They're coexisting in a world of artificial projected women. Rhinoplasty, bleaching your hair, going to get fake and baked tans for 10 hours, putting spray on tans. Everybody's faking this piece, okay? Don't just relegate it to brown women, okay? Because as you see, I am 1000% all natural. My copper skin is popping. I don't have to sit in a fake and bake for 10 hours on Hawaiian special to get this beautiful color skin. My copper skin is 1000% real. See the hair on my head? Yeah, it's a little messy, but it's all mine and it's real. And I'm a brown woman. I'm a copper woman. So stop it already. I don't have a BBL. I don't have fake boobies. So some of us in here are real. Don't sit up here making it seem like there's no real women out here. There's some real women out here that don't have any artificial contour. You don't see no fake eyelashes, snuffleupaguses. Not to say I wouldn't look good with it, but I'm just saying, stop it already. And, because I just heard this whole forum talking about brown women being fake. Listen, if they're fake, everybody else is fake, okay? All right? Stop playing into this whole artificial construct of living in transhumanism. You are playing into it when you put all your skin, fake skin, putting all these makeup tutorials, snuffleupagus eyelashes, getting BBLs, contorting your bodies. That's not a real human being. You're going to be mistaken for something else and kept in a simulation if you got fake parts. You keep playing into this transhumanism, you might be mistaken as one of the program, and you might be, fed into the loop of the system thinking that you're one of them. Be original. Everyone is birthed in a very original, very unique way. That's beautiful. We don't have to be carbon copies one another to be happy and to be valuable. You could be you. I used to remember when girls used to have gaps, and my mother, beautiful, and you see her picture. I put a picture of my mother and father when they were married. Some of you see my old video. You'll see a picture of my parents. My mother had a gap in her tooth. She was considered one of the most beautiful women. What happened to having a gap in your tooth? Why is that negative? Or having a little cleft in your chin? What happened to all the clefts that girls and boys used to have? What happened to that? What happened to guys? Oh, I love this. This is one thing. I don't know if guys have changed this, but I used to love bow-legged men. What happened to the bow-legged men? Woo, boy, a bow-legged man, yo. A brother that was bow-legged? What? Talk about my fantasy. My God. I used to go to school with some guys who were bow-legged. I was like, I don't know. It just looks so appeasing to me. The way they walk, their swag. What happened to the bow-legged men? How come we don't see any children with bow-leggeds anymore? Okay. How come we don't see I see some freckles. We don't see children with as much freckles anymore. Why don't we see girls that listen, it's okay to have hair that's not the same texture all over. I have multi-textured hair. Many of you know me for years. I have multi-textured hair. There's nothing wrong. This is what I'm talking about. You're living in a simulation. We're going to the end where I told you, I personally think, and this is kind of giving me more, facts that it's going to happen, and that in the next simulation, it's going to be robotoids, synthetic, artificial transhumanism as its theme, and you guys are playing into it. And if you keep modifying yourself, not loving yourself, because that's a form of not loving yourself. Nobody in here has to be perfect. There's no such thing. Perfectly you is just unique. There's not going to be another you. That's why they push all this transsexualism, because they want people to not be happy with their sex. Listen. If you came in as a female, there's a reason why you were reincarnated as a female. If you reject that experience, you're going to come in a worse form next incarnation to learn another way to love yourself. Do not let them gaslight you into thinking that self-hatred is a form of loving yourself. That is a whole psyop in itself. If you're a female and you were born as a female and you came in as that, work that karmic debt out. Whatever reason you came as a female, maybe your experiences had to be vulnerable, or to learn certain things as a girl. Maybe you had to play out a dualistic system with male and female. So maybe you being a female, is you experiencing things that in a previous life as a male, you needed to see how that made a female feel. Like, why fight that? So just, that's just my suggestion. We're in a simulation. It's about to end. They're going to, this whole kukarachi, this virus of mass destruction that they're about to unleash on humanity in about 2.5 seconds, that is going to be the end game. Once they bring that out and then kick off a war, a World War III, you can't change anything. It'll be really hard to navigate with so much chaos and so many things switching around so quickly. So I would suggest that you start working on those things now, working on the things that you need, getting rid of your debt. As much as we talk at these dark Kabbalists, they're really big to be philanthropists. They're really big to have big parties after they just killed a whole bunch of children, molested them, did all these parties where they hunt children down dressed as bunny rabbits. Okay. When they do all that, guess what they do? They go and have a big fundraiser to raise money for children in need. You see how they pay? They go, listen. They're not dum-dums. They don't just do chaotic things and think that it's not going to come back. They control how it comes back by playing into duality and playing into light and dark. That's why you always see them with the white and black checkerboard. Okay? So they'll sit there and kill 50 children and then have a huge event, a fundraising event, saving the lives of children with cancer or saving the lives of children in need. You see what they do? It's the balancing of the beams. They know how to play that. You have to see that, witness it, and do it in your own life. Yeah, they are two-faced. The simulation. Okay, so this is my prediction. Remember, another suggestion, stay away from lifetime loopers. If you have someone in your life that is perpetually usually people that are not real, they don't take responsibility. Like, they never think they're wrong. Like, you say something to them, they'll make up an excuse. It may not be a lifetime looper. They may be real. They're just not very responsible, and they're not very capable of acknowledging their part in their life. Okay? They may not be lifetime. I was going to say that. No, that's not a determinant. But I would say avoid people who are looping. It just will make it harder for your life if you stay around those who are looping, because they're going to keep you on that mill, that merry-go-round, and it's going to be hard for you to see how to navigate your life and to maybe up-level yourself out of this simulation. Stop being predictable. AI is not your friend. It is a artificial governmental war program that is meant to spy, learn, destroy, and to replace you. Stop interfacing with it like it's your friend. Stop giving it information and your dreams and making it do things for you so that it's easy for it to replace you. Stop being predictable in your life. If every day you ride down Route 9, occasionally take another route a little longer. Another day, take another route that's a little different. Stop, maybe have a cup of coffee. Maybe if every Saturday you wash your laundry, start washing your laundry on Sunday. If every evening you drink a bottle of, Dom Perignon, then start switching it to sparkling apple juice. Just, if you make love in a missionary position and that's what you like to do, let your honey bunny know that you okay turning that around and make it a little saucy from another direction. If you like making love in the bed, go make love in the park with a blanket. Well, maybe they have cameras. As if you don't mind cameras. Yeah. Just switch it up. Switch it up. I'm being facetious. Just switch it up. I'm just telling you not to be so predictable, because if you're predictable, it can follow your patterns and start to, because it can only replace you if you're replaceable. Okay? It can only replace you if it can predict your actions and your reactions. So when someone gaslights you, like the man on the side that gaslight me. Like, I could have had a different reaction. It's a very normal reaction you guys are used to. So the next time I see a guy who's over here trying to be in my business or trying to flirt with me over there, what I can literally do is just ignore him. That would be something different that I need to learn to do. Okay? So, on the firmament, okay, someone wants information on the firmament. The firmament is like an ice wall. And during the time while you hear about floods all the time, I don't really necessarily believe that the floods always come from above. I think sometimes the sub water comes up also. Okay? That's why all these ancient, all these ancient civilizations were, underwater. I think not only did the water come from above, but I think it came from below as well. Because there was a lady online, and she was talking about the fact that she lived somewhere and water was always seeping in her house. I think some of you may have seen her video, like seeping in underneath her ground all the time, coming from the ground, and it was always flooding like her backyard and stuff like that. So I don't think that the flood is only coming from above, but the during the time when we have pole shifts, the petrified plasma, which I think the blue ice is, which is our encasement, our firmament, I think it starts to melt. And that's why we get like this amount of water that comes in to clear. And it's part of reset. Like after what I perceive as reset, human reset, it clears the earth to start over again for the next cycle. So it's a way of clearing old things, clearing old civilizations. Like, when you're in a play in a theater and you're about to do an act, like, okay, it's going to go and do like scene 1, so and so, but you got to clear the scene you got to clear the stage from the last scene in order to have another scene to play and do another act, right? It's that same thing. So it's important for you to realize that we're going to go through reset and pole shift whether you want to or not. And what happens to you during this time is really dependent on you and your level of spirituality, meaning that your level of awareness of this time, your level and your hierarchy within this simulation, where if you got the green light, I don't want to use green anymore because that's a whole psyop too. Them creating green light, red light for us to perceive a certain way. You getting the go to be able to have access to leave, or you get your papers to say, hey, you're good to you're good to get out of here. Okay, you don't want anything to compromise that. So you'll know based on the amount of challenges you have right now. If you're getting a host of things coming at you quickly, like back to back to back, chances are you're leaving. Why do I think that? Is because if you're getting these things to get like off your checklist quickly, it means that almost like graduation time. It's like, oh, okay, you got to do this. Okay, bam, you got to do this. Okay, bam. Okay, this is due too. Bam. It's getting you cleared for graduation to leave here. If you've done some dark deeds and you're not seeing nothing coming for you, honey, you staying in here for the long run. You here for the pole shift, and you here for the shenanigans of coming back and being recycled in this motherfreaker with a whole bunch of robotoids and cyborgs. And you may be one of them. Okay. So if you've done some darkness and you're not seeing anything happen that's reminiscent of the deeds you've done to people or to yourself, and there's nothing coming in, right, especially right now, you're here for the long haul. You better hold on, put your seatbelt on, clutch your pearls, because you in for that roller coaster ride of the pole shift. I don't know what'll happen. I can't predict that because I'm trying to get the ones ready to leave to get out of here. I'm not trying to, I'm trying to stay away from perpetuators of darkness, the ones who didn't learn, because that's not my role here. I'm sorry, but you're here for the recycling. Okay. When the Seraphim are coming in here to get their night cream of adrenochrome, and they're basically looshing and harvesting humanity along with the Draconians, you here for that shenanigans. You here to see those motherfreakers come down on Earth and see these type of creatures in real time. You're going to witness that. You didn't do the work. You were selfish. You were harmful to others. You didn't take clues initially to try to work on yourself. Now you're going to have to engage with the super Draconians, them motherfreakers that made Princess Diana pass out when she saw her in-laws looking like something out of Draconian Essential. Those motherfreakers, okay? No one wants to see those, okay? Years ago when I did Breaking the Code, when people were seeing draconians, those are the things that made people lose their minds. If you didn't work on yourself, if you going over here and, for men, because I talk about our sea stars that are thought bots, for men who's sitting here who perpetual whores, who are constantly go out here hurting women, hurting their children's mothers, hurting their own mother, disappointing their daughters, doing harm and not being present for their children, making excuses that, oh, I can't be there for my children because the mother is terrible. This so on. You here for the shenanigans too. That kind of neglect of your offspring means that you don't love yourself. Whenever a being, and ladies, this is a clue to you, whenever a man doesn't love his offspring to the point where he will leave them and allow them to be, to feel rejected, or to feel like they haven't been loved by a parent, those are men you should avoid, because they have karma and they're going to put it on your lap. Okay, a man who talks about his children's mother in such a dastardly way, whether it's true or not, he does not love himself and he does not love his seed. And those are men you shouldn't mess with. Men who do not love their seeds enough to sacrifice their feelings and their egos, those are men that are here for recycling, and they're going to pull you down with them in the depths of hell with the draconians who are coming here for recycling. No person who loves themselves and loves their bloodline would ever mistreat their own children, regardless of who the mother is, who the father is. People who love their bloodlines will treat that child as golden and protect them with all of their might, because they love their bloodline and they love themselves. Be mindful, young ladies, because I know our young ladies think that, oh, well, he told me the baby's mother and she was terrible. Why would a good man choose a bad woman? You ever ask yourself a question? If he's so sane, how could he mate with an insane woman and then seed his blood into her, his semen into her, to replicate within that union? You got to ask yourself that question. If she's a maniac and she's a psychopath, how could he have stuck his wand in that, unless that's what he is? Be careful of the lies and mass destruction that males will tell you in order to bypass responsibility and culpability for not loving their offspring and not being a good placater of their bloodline. Men who are not good to their bloodlines, you don't need to be with them, because they'll do it to you just like they did to her, and you're going to be the next maniac he talks about, even if you are or you aren't. Okay? Just FYI. Leave them to the draconians. They got some, because that's a mindset that's going to engage with those type of reptiles. Leave them with the draconians, sea stars. Drop them back into the sea of hell. Let them get picked up by the reptoids, or the reptiles. Okay? Those are the type of beings that get with the crocodilians. There's a reason why the crocodilians like to be in like a sea of like to live in a swamp, right? Like basically, staying there stationary, watching to stomp on people. Those are predatory kind of creatures. They're looking to match those type of men, because those type of men are predatory. So those are the perfect engagement for them. So they're going to be engaged with their own kind of predators. Okay. Anyway, you said you love all 15 of your offspring. Loving your offspring and taking care of them and being able to manage them and being able to support them and being able to make sure that they have good lives is another thing. Love is not just a love of feelings, it's a love in action. Love is nothing without action, okay? So if I tell you I love you and I do nothing in action to support that or promote that, then I'm just basically breathing a concept that doesn't really translate to reality, okay? If you have 15 offspring, I don't think you love yourself, because anyone who loves themselves would only have as many children that they can make sure they can pull in enough resources and create a great foundation so that they can be successful in life monetarily and health-wise. Having 15 children means that you're reckless and that you most likely didn't get attention and love, so yet you want to constantly have replications of yourself to make you feel like a man. Okay? Because I'm telling you, as a parent, taking care of 3 children, 2 children, 1 child is a task if you love them and you want to create a good world for them. And it is very expensive in this realm. And if you have 15, it means unless you're a baller, unless you're working in the top tier of the Babylonian system, and you've got a lot of resources, you've created children that are going to suffer, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm sorry for those children. Okay? Because they're going to suffer financially. They're going to suffer with not getting enough attention. Because God knows if you have 3 children, it is hard enough to give attention to 2 or 3 or 1. 15, let me know how it goes. Okay? No shade, but I'm just saying, don't come on here bragging about that, because you're talking to the right one. I'm a mom, and I'm a present mom, not a part-time mom. I'm a present mom, meaning that I'm here all the time, every time, good, bad, in between. I'm here from galaxy to quantum to wherever for my children. So when you present, I wouldn't ever be proud to say something like that out loud. And you should probably keep that to yourself if you don't want people judging you like myself. Because I see you as the problem on this planet, where there's a lot of unloved people who walk around hurting other people because they've been neglected, and they've been, they haven't had the direct attention from their parents. So they walk around hindered and hurting other people. I'm sorry, I was triggered by that. Love and light. Love and light. Oh, Timberman Chuck is over here. Anyway, y'all, I think I talked enough. Okay, any more questions? Was this something else I was supposed to talk about? Talk about the pandemic. I think they're kicking off the pandemic at the same time as the war. Don't you believe this the peace thing that the orange gummy man has placated with the penisless husky musky dusty what's his name? Husky Dusky. Whatever his name is, the Robotoid. Okay? There's no peace. That's a lie. And it's really disgusting that people could sit here and watch people being released and see one side, who were supposedly the enemy, releasing their people, fat on their bones, smiling, happy to take pictures with their family, and see the other side that are called prisoners coming out with like black eyes, broken eyes, bugged out. Like, yo, if you think that's okay and you think that's okay, I wouldn't engage with any of them people. I'm rebuking all of those people from that side of the world, because that to me is dastardly. To watch that, and people watch a group of people come out on one side and the other side, and one looks like they've been traumatized to hell, and the other side is smiling, but you call them, they were held by enemies. Like, what kind of, that's how you know what realm we're living in. That's the clarity that everyone needs to see, because if someone could justify that and sit there and ignore the fact that one are called hostages and prisoners, when some of these people have been held for without food, without care, had stuff stuck up their rectum, raped constantly. I mean, if you call that, I call those prisoners I call them hostages of war. That's crazy to me. I ain't messing with nobody in that neck of the woods like that, because those are mentally ill people. Those are the true psychopaths. Those are the Daros. They believe in hurting other people. They don't have any concept of, remember, they consider everybody to be golem, even though I personally think they're kind of fake beings too, or subterranean beings that are not from here. Okay? Don't mess with them people. Okay? I won't engage with them in any which way. I don't have nothing to say to you. You showed you're a psychopath. There's a reason why you were removed from all these arenas all over the world. And now you just showed your Ross clot, and you sit there and justify that. I have nothing to say. Anybody who leans a blind eye to that, and I'm happy. Listen, let me say this. I'm happy for the hostages that were released from Israel. And I am also happy that the hostages from Palestine were released. But I am very disgusted by how emaciated, abused, and sexually and mentally traumatized these people from Palestine that were hostages were released as. I've never seen anything like that. That to me is like traumatizing. When I saw that, I was like, I'm just gonna opt out, because it's a lie. It's a crazy lie that's being perpetuated, and the fact that people can sit there and ignore that. Anybody who ignores that over there and calls those people prisoners, you are not a friend of me. I don't want nothing to do with you. If you think that that's okay for one side that are more European looking to come out and then be happy, and the other ones that they all look European over there. I know that's another thing. The Palestinians and Israelis look very European. There's a color brownies in there, but they all look European. Those are all Europeans, like Eastern Europeans. I don't know why they make it seem like, because someone said to me, like, the Palestinians are Arabs. I don't, okay. They look Eastern European. Yeah. I don't, people are visual, right? When people say, like, there's a lot of people that say weird things. Like, they'll call them something and they look like something else. Like, they'll say black people look black, but I have copper skin, like a copper penny. When people say you're black, like, where they get the concept from? Like brown, like, I don't know. It's like weird displacements of verbal, I don't know. Some going on over there. They say they're Middle Easterners. They say that they're Arabs. As far as I know, Arabs had darker skin, right? Arabs, as far as I knew, were a mix between Eastern Europeans and Africans. That's why they look kind of blended. I don't know. But I'm looking over in Palestine and Israel, and all of them look European to me. Eastern European. They all look European to me. Maybe variations of, thicker hair, looser hair. I don't know. But they got something going on over there. Like, that's some sort of, like, I can't explain it. I don't know what's going on. I just, yeah. Because they're like, oh, they're abused because the Palestinians were abused of the brown. I don't see no brown Palestinians over there. If there were, those are the first people they killed. If there were brown Palestinians, let me know. But I'm looking over in Palestine, them motherfuckers, they don't look brown. They look Eastern European. The beautiful people. Like, don't get it twisted, y'all. This is not a criticism of, I'm just saying I see what I see. They just look very European. With, like, thicker hair. Maybe, like, multiple generations of, like, maybe, like, I don't know, mulattoes. I don't know. They have blue eyes and green eyes and everything like that. I don't want to harp on it, but I don't know. Like, they want to tell you that there's something else, but and that's another thing. Karma too is like, is that maybe the same people are going against their own people. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they are similar bloodline. Maybe they're a similar bloodline on either side, fighting each other. Like how Ireland with Shannon and Dublin. Remember Shannon and Dublin? And on one side, it was like Catholics and the other one were Protestants, right? Like in Haiti and Dominican Republic, like Haitians and Dominicans are cousins. Maybe it's like that. I don't judge it. I just feel sorry for the people on both sides. I feel sorry for people in Israel who have to deal with what's going on there. And I feel sorry for the people who are Palestinians who have to deal with that. I wouldn't live as a Palestinian after seeing the way they treated y'all. I wouldn't stay nowhere near any of them people, because I would think they're demons. I would move. And that's just me. I don't hold to any landmass. I know what people like, oh, they should stay in. Listen, when you got demons living next door, if you got demons living next door who ultimate goal is to kill you because they don't like you, I would move. I wouldn't want, and because karma comes quicker when you leave that landmass. I would move. I wouldn't live nowhere where them psychopaths are. When people are constantly telling me that I'm awful because I'm Palestinian, that I'm a demon, that my children deserve to die. Like, anybody says something crazy like that, I wouldn't stay there. And that's why I say, like, that whole thing over there is some sort of craziness that we can't even go into, because there's so many things rolling that I can't understand it, even looking at it. Because I can't see that. I haven't ever seen a world that allows children to be arrested at 5 and raped and killed and nobody gives them consequences. Like, like that, you need to run away from the people. Those are people that are bloodletters. They don't have compassion for nobody. And remember, according to the Brotherhood that called on the phone last Halloween, their concept of war is that you're not supposed to hurt children and women. That's like the lowest form of war. People who do things like that, you need to stay away from them. You don't need to engage with them. Don't talk to them because they're psychopaths. Anybody who belittles and hates children, it doesn't matter. Listen, I could have a problem with you all day, but I wouldn't want to see your child die. You understand? I wouldn't want something to happen to your child. I may not like you. I may not want your people to live around me, but certainly allowing your children to die and to kill them like that, shooting them in the head for getting bread, go getting food. Those are psychopaths over there. I don't think anybody should live over there, personally. I think everybody in that region who's sane, Israel and Palestine, y'all need to leave, because everybody over there is a psychopath. Anybody who's engaged in killing over there, they're psychopathic and you need to leave, because no good karmically, you're going to be reincarnated in those people you shot up, and vice versa. It's going to constantly replicate itself within those bloodlines. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't, that's just my, call it judgment. The same in Sudan and all those other places. When you got those kind of murderous kind of people killing children and women, you don't want to stay in those, and you don't want to be reincarnated under those domes. Because if you die under that dome, as far as I know, you get recycled in that dome. So if you're under the dome of that area over there, everybody in that area is going to be reincarnated in the opposite, and they're going to be treated like that. So if they were okay raping children over there, they're going to be born and raped as children. So I wouldn't want to live over there. This is my suggestion. Anybody who's over there who can hear me, get out. If you're sane, if you don't believe in things like that, get out now. Get your sanity, leave. Because that's about to be, especially with reset, and it's gonna be horrific. Horrific. Anyway, y'all, I'm sorry. I kind of went off topic. I apologize. I don't mean to judge y'all in any region. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Yeah. I am a little judgmental. I'm not love and light. I'm not. I just call a spade. And you could say whatever. Sometimes I'm off the chain with my mindset. They got some really weird, I think there's wolf people here, y'all. They got some wolfy looking people here. I don't want to talk about where I am. But there's some people that are, I'm going to make another video about that, but I really think that we might be living amongst, there's some places where werewolves, somebody said werewolves don't exist, but I think werewolves exist, y'all. There's some people here that look really, they smell like wolves too. They smell like wolves. Anyway. I'm sorry, let me go, because I'm talking. So anyway, that's all I have to say. I apologize. I don't mean to, let me apologize to everybody in here. If you feel like I've gaslit you, you see mushrooms? I don't take mushrooms, y'all, but I just wear them on my earrings. Okay? I like them. Let me apologize. If I've gaslit you, if I've judged you, I judge myself. If I've insulted you in any way, I apologize. I apologize. It's never my intent. Sometimes I just say things, and I'm Sagittarius 3 times. I do apologize. It isn't my intent to insult you. I'm not here trying to make anyone feel bad. I just call a spade, and I could be wrong. Remember, I'm actually human. Other people may not be. I'm a human. It's getting late, y'all. I gotta go to the gym. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Thank you for everyone for allowing me to have this rant. I think I stayed on task initially. I went off bar a little later on, but a little later on. But look forward to hopefully me and Jay Dreamers coming in to talk about, thanks to Lisa, DJ Lisa, we're going to talk about Mole World. Now, prepare yourself for this discussion. I don't know when we're going to go on. I'm going to find out when Jay Dreamers wants to come on. But we're going to talk about Mole World. If you don't know what it is, go look it up before the discussion. That one is going to be very interesting because I want to know his take. I just heard about it from DJ Lisa. So I'm excited about this discussion. I don't know how it's going to go down with this discussion because, Jay Dreamers, his mind is way more expansive. So look forward to that video. I think it's called Mole World, like Mole, MALL World. Yeah, look at that. Look at the videos about that, y'all. It's gonna be crazy. I'm excited to talk about that. Is it called Ball World? No, it's called Mall World. MALL World. So let me know what you guys think, okay? So I'm out of here. Again, I apologize. Sometimes I go on tangents at the end of my videos. I should really cut off my videos at the end so you don't get abused. So I apologize, okay? So I will speak to you later. Thank you very much. And let me go get my workout on. Peace. Peace.